On this week's episode, we are going to talk about weak men and how weak men create bad times. Now, if you think about it, back into, all the generations, I think it makes a lot of sense. And I think you're really going to want to hear this one because this is a quote that I actually took from somebody else. But if you really think about all the things going on, it makes total sense. Welcome to yet another episode of Kosmo Unfiltered. Joining me with my boy, Wessel.
What's up?
What's up, Wes?
How's it going?
Pretty good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I know I'm very late to the party, but I watched the original Top Gun this week.
You just now watched that?
I wasn't born in the 80s.
I watched it like Monday and last night.
You're like living. Because, I mean, the movie came out a while ago, the second one, yeah. Maverick.
Yeah. It's so funny. We was watching that last night, and we got to, this is going to go off on a tangent, but this is good. This is good shit. We got to looking at the old actors. So they did, the night before they did one, it was like, where are they now? And they did the entire movie, but with the people as they are now, and they talked about the scenes, and they kind of, it's kind of a documentary. It's really cool. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I was in ninth grade when that came out. And so I was like, I think like these people, some of these people look good. Some of them look really bad. So I started looking like at people that I went to high school with, and some of them look good and some of them look really bad. And I looked over at my wife and I said, you didn't know this when you married me, but you got a 10.
Oh, man.
It's just taking me a minute to get there.
You're just like a fine wine.
I was like, and if I don't know how you are not on Facebook screaming at the top of your mountain how you're married to a 10, because I am a 10 compared to some of these people.
Respectively. Like if it's a sliding scale.
And here's where I got in trouble. She said, well, what about you? I said, I tell everybody all the time I married a solid 7. Yeah, that didn't go.
Didn't go well.
No, that didn't go well. That did not go.
Jamie's an 8 all day.
Oh, Jamie's a 10 to me.
Yeah, she's a 10.
On this week's episode, weak men create bad times, and this is a good one. Hey, man, if this is your first time watching, thank you. We appreciate it. Make sure you leave us a comment down below. Give us a follow at Kosmo Unfiltered on all the platforms, all the listening places, everywhere. We're like omnipresent right now.
We're everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah. So
right now.
Hey, this sumbitch is going somewhere. You can say, hey, I jumped in when I was one of the first ones on the train.
Ground floor.
Yeah. We got to do a ground floor shirt.
Okay. So
this is a quote from an author, G. Michael Hoff.
Hopf?
Hopf.
Yeah, he's Hopf.
And I've heard this before.
Okay.
Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. And weak men create hard times. Like, I was thinking about it. And to me, this makes all the sense in the world. Because I think society, like, is a bunch of like we are. Like, everybody is offended for everything. Everybody. It's so shocking. Now, when this happens, the people that are actually being offended, they get drowned out because of, my cause, save the
squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Yeah. Save I-40, wildflowers, and I'm going to, shut the highway. It's just crazy shit. And because we've had it too good for too long. And when you have it too good for too long, you have to find something to bitch about. Mm. And people will bitch about anything. And now we're hearing, people bitch about, I'm not even going to touch any of the hot buttons, but, just hypothetically, well, if you don't wear a yellow hat, then you must hate everybody that wear. Oh, come on.
Yeah, make yellow great again.
I'm like, come on. And our politicians are the absolute worst in the world. I mean,
I saw a guy post something. He said, why has it ever occurred to us that 70 to 80-year-old people are considered in society like unemployable because of like mental decline. And yet they literally run this country. Like, you think about how you would legislate if you had 2 little kids at home and you're in your mid-30s, like, you got a lot of life ahead of you, right?
Yeah.
Like, you got some skin in the game. If you're 85, like, what, even if you have the most noble intentions, you're going to be 6 feet under inside of the next 5 to 7. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, and you want to think they got a good grasp on, like, legacy. Like, let's leave one. But, like, how much do you really care?
Well, and I think a lot of thought behind that is like the elderly are wise, but then the second you mix money and power into it, wisdom's out the door. You know?
Well, there's also too, I heard a guy talking about phases of life, and he said the life phase he's in, he's trying to like help people learn what he knows. He's in his early 70s. He's made a lot of money. And he said at the beginning, you don't know anything. It's just like bliss. You're having fun. Then you realize you have some responsibility. There's some things expected of you, and you got to go earn it. After you get out of that phase, you do have something to say and to contribute. But I think after that, it's just end of life. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with that. It's natural. Like, but this, rolling downhill, or so to speak, of like money and lobbying and whatever else that keeps people.
Well, and I don't want to over politicize this, because I was from me, but I do agree with you. I think from the standpoint of society at large, everybody's a bunch of
yeah. You need to read.
There's certain words that, like, I get it. There was a TV show on years ago, and on this is on the show, they called a female no nuts, and I was like, well, that's offensive, like, But back then, that was okay. Well, and I say all that to say this: when you are pinpoint targeting a person, there's a difference between being offended, or you don't drive an electric car, so you hate the universe.
Yeah.
You hate the world.
You hate the earth.
And I'm like, hold on, time out. Like, electric car, let's just call it what it is. They came out 30 seconds ago, and they're not even that, like, they're not at the pinnacle of where they could be.
No.
Not even close. And truth be known, electric cars actually came out 100 years ago in New York, and you can Google it. They have all the plug-in stations and all that, and it got killed by the Fords and all the gas industry, gasoline, the Rockefellers and all that.
Yeah. Conflict of interest.
Yeah, and I get it, but it's I guess what I'm saying is your opinion doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And if your opinion forced on somebody else is just like, no one gives a shit.
Yeah.
No one gives a shit.
I heard a lady who used to work for the Obama White House as like a psychological ninja. She like would help brief people in the White House about, hey, this guy's coming and he likes to be communicated this way, and he would be more receptive to this messaging if you said it this way. Like, she just understood the psychology of these people. And she was talking about just how people went nuts in 2020 about stupid stuff that ostensibly doesn't matter, like, at all. Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter. Yeah. And she said you can't underestimate what people are willing to do or adopt to still associate with their people group. And I thought that was kind of interesting, because like, your people group 25 years ago was like the human beings you literally live around, that you see in person, that you interact
on your
with
block
twice a week at church or whatever else. Yeah. Like, now we think our people group is like the however many hundreds or thousands of friends we have online.
Oklahoma or the U.S.
Yeah, like, it's just, it's not. It's this superficial, like...
We didn't go see people 6 blocks away very often. It's
just, the world wasn't built that way.
No, it's not. And that's why you could ride bicycle. That's why you could let your kids play. Now, bad shit happens.
Sure.
And it always will. There's always going to be that kind of sin in the world and that kind of evil. But, back then, I mean, we ran the streets. We were tough.
Yeah.
And I heard it said this way: don't stop your kids from doing dangerous things safely.
Yeah.
Which I think, honestly, I just saw it on TV the other day. Man got arrested for spanking his kid at the park in Oklahoma City.
What?
Now, I'll be honest with you, I don't know. he may have been beating the tar out of that kid, or he may have just been spanking the kid. But I thought, how big a do we have to have running this world to where you can't spank your child? Now, I get it. There's a difference between discipline and correction and abuse.
Yeah.
There is a difference. And I think everybody knows. And the second an emotion gets involved, that's when it can get to the abusive side.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
That's just it for me.
That's
Discipline, on the other hand, is here's the way that I heard a guy say it. He said, don't be willing to give them anything that you're not willing to hand them the whatever and give right back to you.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, that's
fair enough.
That's fair enough, you know?
Yeah.
I also did hear a father, his son got in trouble, and the father handed the belt to the son and told him, I will take your punishment.
Huh.
And the son just broke.
Man.
That's crazy, though.
It is crazy. I mentioned it a while back, but there's a book called Dopamine Nation.
Oh, so true.
Have you listened to it?
No, I haven't.
You should get it. It's really good.
But we talked about this, and everybody is on that dopamine hit.
Dude.
And then what happens when you burn all the receptors out? You know?
Well, I mean, she talks about opioids and people that live with pain and how your body's trying to find homeostasis. Yeah. And so not that you're not in pain, I believe people are, but like synthetically diminishing your ability to like receive pain signals in your body interprets that as like, well, we need to make more pain receptors.
Make more.
Let's make more. We got a deficit here. And she even talks about just evolutionary brains that we have been shaped over like long before we were here. And now we don't, like the reward pathway. I'm hungry. I go chase down something on my bare feet, kill it and eat it. I feel good. Like that completes the reward pathway, the dopamine cycle. It doesn't happen anymore. Like you just sit wherever you're at, order Postmates or surf Instagram for 7 hours and just like, it's just this overwhelming amount of dopamine with like no equal or opposite reaction. And it's just messing everybody up.
Which is, and I think it plays into this, it's teaching people, I get what I want. And this is what, this is, when I was a kid, people didn't complain about, like, I saw a kid the other day giving his dad the friggin' business because his dad wouldn't take him to go eat out.
Huh.
I'm talking 9-year-old kid. I would have been smoked.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
Straight up smoked.
Yeah.
And this is in public too. Man. And he's sitting there going, son, I've told you that, we're going to, and then he caved.
Oh, he caved?
He caved. He ended up taking him. And granted, we was at a meal. Like, the little shithead kid could have ate there. Kid didn't want to.
Oh, he wanted him to go somewhere else.
So he wanted him to run him someplace else and grab a burger.
Shoot, no way.
And I was like, no, I would take the brakes right off that boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to eat.
Yeah. I don't care.
Yeah.
Don't eat.
If you want to, it's happening here.
But this plays into this. Weak men create bad times. And weak men, and I'm using that in an instance, right?
Generally.
It's not just men. It's men and it's society at large.
Sure.
If you're going to cave to your kid like that, you're the problem.
Yeah.
Your kid ain't the problem. We're all wired that way. Just most of us got taught no.
Yes.
And if the second I would have piped my mouth up, my mom would have decleated me.
Yeah.
It'd have been over. And everybody would have applauded. Good for you. And they wouldn't have called the cops.
Yeah.
So, all right. I'll get off that rant.
Step off the soapbox. Back on earth.
Well, hey, I want to thank everybody for watching. If you got something you would like to add, please leave us a comment down below. We love to hear from you. And if you would, hey, we don't charge for any of this, so share it with a friend. That's the only thing we ask you to do is just share this episode with a friend. Tag us down there, Kosmo Unfiltered, and we'll catch you in the next video. Peace.